The NBA trade deadline just passed a few minutes ago, and I wanted to drop a video reacting to all the trades that happened and also all the trades that didn't happen because some teams made some questionable decisions. I wanted to react to all that while it's still fresh. Let's start with some of the guys that were really expected to get traded. They were kind of the headline of this NBA trade deadline, like DeJounte Murray, which, as you guys can see, the Hawks are keeping guard DeJounte Murray. Sources tell ESPN, this is from Woj, of course, no trade for him. I guess the Hawks couldn't get anything that was worth trading him for, but DeJounte's on the last year of his deal and he is not expected to re-sign back to Atlanta in the offseason. Are the Hawks title contenders? No. So they pretty much just wasted DeJounte Murray. I would have tried to got something for him. I don't know what the best offer was, but the Lakers were heavily rumored to try and make a trade for him. I guess maybe because D'Lo's been playing good now, they kind of maybe got scared of that trade. I don't know. But the Lakers didn't do anything, and another team, my team, the Warriors, didn't do anything except we did trade Corey Joseph for like a second-round pick with the Pacers. I mean, we just basically got rid of Corey Joseph. That's all the Warriors did. But Malcolm Brogdon did not get traded. Brogdon's a guy that I think can really help a team go far in the playoffs. I thought the Knicks were a good candidate to get him. We're going to talk about the Knicks, of course, in a second. Trailblazers are a very young team. Brogdon's kind of that one old guy that I don't think is really a part of their future. I think he has one more year on his deal, so he's going to play for them next year. But I thought that they were going to trade him almost for sure. The next guy is Alex Caruso. The Bulls made him untouchable in trade talks. If you're a Chicago Bulls fan, like, I kind of feel bad for you, bro, because they didn't make a move last year. I think they were the only team to not make a trade last year. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. They haven't made a trade for a player since 2021. You guys don't know, all the other teams have. So that's crazy. And I get that Alex Caruso is good and he, I think, has one more year in his deal. He could really help a team win a championship. There's a lot of teams that would definitely give up a lot for him. I know the Lakers were interested. The Warriors reached out to the Bulls today, but the Bulls made him untouchable. I might have to make a whole nother video on the Bulls because, like, what are they doing? I have my noties on, so you guys might hear my phone go off during this video just in case any last second trades go through. I just got a notie. The Bulls wanted Jonathan Kuminga from the Warriors in the Alex Caruso trade talk. So obviously he's not untouchable, but their asking price is crazy. Like, you're not getting Jonathan Kuminga for Alex Caruso. Probably the most shocking trade that we saw go down today was the Knicks getting Bojan Bogdanovic essentially for free. I know Quentin Grimes is something, so it wasn't like really for free, but look what they gave up. Quentin Grimes, Malachi Flynn, Evan Fournier, who's pretty much just to match the salaries. He doesn't even really play. And then Ryan Arcidiacono, which I don't know why the Knicks included this. I don't know why the Pistons wanted him, but he was a big chemistry guy for the Knicks. He obviously went to Villanova with all the Knicks players that went there, like Brunson, Hart, and Dante. But basically the Knicks gave up 2 second-round picks and Quentin Grimes for Bojan Bogdanovic and also Alec Burks. Alec Burks can help out also. Like, I feel like that's kind of flying under the radar. And I know Knicks fans are saying, well, obviously they're saying that they won this trade, but I think Knicks fans were kind of like thinking, we're good as is. Since we traded for OG Anunoby, you know, we have this crazy record. I don't know what it is exactly, like 17-2 in their last whatever games. The playoffs is a little bit different. And after trading RJ Barrett, who's a near 20 point per game scorer, and Emmanuel Quickly, who was averaging like, I don't know, 15 points per game for them, that's leaving a hole. And you brought in OG Anunoby. He's not necessarily a scorer. Maybe he can, you know, produce that Quickly type production, you know, 15 points a game, but you're still missing out on some scoring. And I know they've been getting that from Dante DiVincenzo. Is that going to be sustainable? I wouldn't really say so at the level he's been doing. So Bojan Bogdanovic coming in here is going to be huge for this Knicks team. It also gives him a little bit of size. He's not that small. He is old though, so you're not expecting much from him on the defensive end, but offensively, I think this is a great addition and possibly the best trade at the deadline. Now, I thought this was interesting because I don't think we've ever seen anything like it, but Patrick Beverley broke his own trade news from his podcast. I assume during the trade talks, he said that would have to be a thing. As I'm getting more noties, that one was nothing, but I'm assuming in the trade talks, he said, if we're going to do this, let me be the one to announce it for my podcast. It's not a huge trade. It doesn't mean much. Pat Bev, kind of just a bench rotational guy, but the Bucks are a contender, so it definitely is worth mentioning. One of my favorite players in the NBA, Buddy Hield, got shipped off to the 76ers for Marcus Morris, Furkan Korkmaz, and 3 second-round picks. Buddy's on the last year of his deal, so this is just going to help the Sixers in their playoff push, assuming Embiid comes back and is healthy. I did want to see the Sixers go out and possibly get a big man. I know Andre Drummond was being rumored, but that didn't happen because Embiid He's gonna be missing a lot of time. Is Paul Reed and Mo Bamba gonna be the answer? I mean, I guess we'll have to see. The Sixers, they might take some L's. Well, they probably will. They're gonna take some L's, but Buddy Hield potentially could help him. Also, Marcus Morris was then traded to like the Spurs and then waived or something. I don't know. I think he's in the buyout market. I don't know what's going on with him. But pretty much for the Pacers, they're just kind of getting rid of Buddy. I guess they don't think they really need him. I kind of agree. They have a bunch of, 1 through 3s on their roster, and then they also just grabbed 3 second-round picks, so that's pretty good for the Pacers. Now this trade's one of the interesting ones for a couple different reasons. The Wizards traded Daniel Gafford to the Dallas Mavericks for Rashawn Holmes and draft compensation. Now if you guys have been living under a rock or you just haven't been watching the NBA, a lot of people haven't been watching the Wizards, but Daniel Gafford has been hooping. Does have some injury concerns, he's a little injury prone, but when he's out there, he's crazy. He gets a lot of blocks, he can score, he can get rebounds. This is a huge trade for the Dallas Mavericks because I've been saying in a lot of my videos, they need to go out and get some forwards because I don't think Derrick Jones Jr., Grant Williams, and the forwards that they have in this team are the answer if Luka and this Mavs team wants to go on a deep playoff run. Now, the thing about this trade is I don't think it's been truly confirmed yet. Like Woj hasn't confirmed it, Shams hasn't confirmed it, but everyone's just kind of assuming that like this trade went through. So I do want to put an asterisk on this because it hasn't been completely confirmed, but most of the people in the NBA world are just kind of assuming that it went through when I don't really know if it has yet. Because as you guys can see in this tweet, it says they're nearing a deal. And I think when he tweeted that, like everyone like Underdog NBA and all these NBA accounts started tweeting out that Gafford's and the Mavs, this is crazy. The Mavs won the deadline. And also we're about to get into another trade the Mavs did, which you guys probably know about already. But Gafford to the Mavs would be huge. He could play the 4 possibly, maybe not because of the next trade we're about to talk about. I saw on the depth chart they had him behind Lively, which I don't know. I know Derek Lively's been great for the Mavs and he's been working good, but I don't know, Gafford could work better for them as the starting center. They have, the second half of the year still to figure it out if Gafford does end up on the Mavs. Now this trade was confirmed. The Mavs acquired PJ Washington for Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a first-round pick, and I was told this is a 2027 first-round pick, and honestly, by then, the Mavs should be good. So it should be a late first-round pick. The Mavs are obviously good right now. I mean, great, because that will be, how old will Luka be? Like 27 at that time? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Luka should be in the prime of his career. The Mavs should be rolling if everything goes correctly. And this trade for Dallas is like a no-brainer because PJ Washington can score, he can play a little defense, he can, get some rebounds, he can even shoot a little bit, not the best, but he provides a little bit of everything, whereas Grant Williams, I don't know. I mean, I just didn't love the fit. Seth Curry, these are guys that you don't really got too much, attachment to. You can kind of let them go easily. And then the first round pick, again, 2027, Mavs should be pretty good by then, because LeBron will maybe be older, maybe out of the league at that point. Curry will be old. You know what I'm saying? The West, the Mavs, they should be near the top of the West, by that time frame. I do feel bad for Grant Williams. And just real quick, everybody, you know what I'm saying? We need to pray for Grant Williams because he has like a 4-year deal and he wasn't signing that with the Hornets, but you don't really think about the business side of the NBA sometimes. And he signs a 4-year deal. Now he's traded to the Hornets. Grant Williams is in Charlotte for potentially the next 4 years of his career. And I don't think he was signing up for that. So he's probably going through a lot right now. It is unfortunate. Yes, he's still a multi-millionaire, so can't feel bad about that. But was Grant Williams expecting this? No. Now this trade right here is kind of interesting to me. I feel like it's more interesting to me than most because the Raptors are kind of trying to, make a little push this year. They're gonna potentially get into the plan, I think. Now they're bringing in Kelly Olynyk, who's on the last year of his deal. And then the interesting piece to me is Ochai Agbaji, who has a few more years, like they're like club options or whatever. Ochai Agbaji, I think could be pretty good. And they are giving up, Kira Lewis, Otto Porter, which is pretty much nothing. And they're giving up a first-round pick. But I think the Raptors are giving up this first-round pick in a draft class that isn't too stacked. You got some solid guys at the top, but the Raptors probably gonna have, middle of the pack pick. Ochai Agbaji was a first-round pick, and I'm assuming the Raptors believe in him. And I like Agbaji. I like him. So I like this trade for the Raptors, where some people are scratching their head and saying, what are the Raptors doing? They don't really have a chance of winning this year. They just give a first-round pick. I don't see what they're doing here. I don't really mind it. We have a very interesting trade here, and that is the OKC Thunder getting Gordon Hayward from the Hornets. And the reason that I say it's interesting, as my phone is still going off, it's nothing, but the reason it's interesting is because we know the Thunder have a ton of draft picks. Like, they're already pretty much one of the best teams in the West. They're one of the best teams in the league. They got a shot at winning the finals this year, and they have so much draft assets. They made a trade and didn't give up any draft assets. They gave up Trey Mann and Davis Bertans for Gordon Hayward. I know Gordon Hayward is way past his prime. He's not great, and I don't even love him that much as a player. I really don't, but he just continues to just produce. I'm not expecting much from him, but for the Thunder, I think this is a pretty good pickup. Right here, we have a trade with a ton of different moving parts, and I like this for the Suns because the Suns are a team that have pretty much lacked depth, and they went out and got a guy like Royce O'Neal, which I know a lot of people have never been excited about Royce O'Neal, but he's just a solid rotational role player. Now they're gonna have him coming off the bench, you know, behind Grayson Allen. You got now Royce O'Neal, Eric Gordon off the bench with the starters. You got Beal, Booker, KD, you got Grayson Allen and Yusuf Nurkic. That's a very solid starting five. Royce O'Neal to help out the bench crew. This is a really good pickup. It's a pretty underrated one. They're also bringing in big body David Roddy. That's another solid addition. The Nets got Bates Diop, Jordan Goodwin, and 3 second-round picks, while the Grizzlies got Yuta Watanabe and Chimezie Metu. One of the weirdest trades of the day was when the Raptors traded Schroeder to the Nets for Spencer Dinwiddie. Two very comparable players, and it's also two teams that are pretty much like fighting for a spot in the play-in. It's also two players that don't have the biggest contracts. Dinwiddie is on the last year of his deal, and then Dennis Schroeder has one more year. So after this went down, first off, I thought potentially the Lakers could make a trade with the Nets to get, you know, Dinwiddie, maybe Royce O'Neal, maybe Dorian Finney-Smith, some of those pieces. So after I saw this, and you know, Schroeder was on the Lakers already, I was thinking, okay, now maybe the Lakers are going to make a package and trade, you know, maybe D'Lo or whoever for Schroeder and like Royce O'Neal or some of these Nets pieces. No, actually what ends up happening, well, the Lakers didn't do anything. They didn't do any of that. But what ended up happening with the Raptors is they ended up waiving Dinwiddie, so they're not going to have him. Now Dinwiddie is on the buyout market. I've heard the Lakers are a potential candidate to end up getting him. And yeah, right here, Lakers, Mavs, Pelicans, 76ers are expected to show interest in Spencer Dinwiddie, who again is pretty much a rental at this point in time, and all of these teams are contenders. So it looks like one of the, you know, finals contenders are going to end up picking up Dinwiddie. If I had to make a guess, I don't feel like it's the Mavs or the Sixers. I could see him going to the Pelicans, and I could also see Lakers. I say Lakers and Pelicans are my top two destinations. By the way, if you guys are still watching, sub up, because I know a lot of people watch the videos, but they're not actually subbed to the channel. We're on the road to 2K subs. Something we got to look at is the standings, and something that I really noticed is that a lot of the true title contenders didn't get much better. The Thunder obviously brought in Gordon Hayward. Is that like really setting them up to win the finals now? No, Gordon Hayward is not setting anybody up to win the finals. The Suns brought in Royce O'Neal, but the Clippers didn't do anything. The Nuggets didn't do anything. The T-Wolves, I think they brought in Monte Morris. Again, that's very small. That doesn't move the needle for any of these teams, any of those little trades. The Celtics didn't do anything. The Cavs didn't do anything. The Bucks didn't do anything. Well, I guess they brought in Patrick Beverly. That's another small move. Like, none of these teams did big moves. The Knicks did bring on Bojan Bogdanovic. So that's kind of the biggest thing. Were the Knicks finals contenders? It's a debate. I wouldn't put them that far. You know, I wouldn't say they're going to the finals. Yeah, they're a contender for it. We're gonna have to see how their health looks come the playoffs. But Bojan's a pretty big pickup. So that's kind of the biggest move that one of these top teams ended up doing. The Sixers brought in Buddy Hield. The Pacers, you know, I guess traded Buddy Hield. They didn't do too much to help themselves out. DeJounte Murray was one of the main pieces that was rumored to get traded to potentially a contender, and he didn't get traded. So there's pretty much no huge names, again, other than Bojan, that got moved. If there's any team y'all want me to make an in-depth video about after the trade deadline, let me know, because you guys know I'm a Warriors fan. I have a lot of thoughts about what's going on with that team. The Lakers, you know, potential another team I can make a video about. I got a lot to say about them. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of the trade deadline? Who won the trade deadline? Which team made the biggest move, the biggest addition? Again, sub up if you guys haven't. We're grinding on this channel pretty much every single day.